Hi, I'm Andrea from Andrea Gamero Coaching, and today I'm going to bring you something I'm really passionate about. And it's about rewiring your brain. Now, I'm part of a group called the College of Confidence. It's run by Trish Blackwell. She is an amazing woman. She's my mentor. She's my friend. She's just changing the lives of so many people by teaching them how to choose the positive over the negative. And it's really powerful. And in my years with her, she put me on to a book by Dr. Murphy and Dr. Joseph Murphy, The Power of the Subconscious Mind. And I'll have the links to it down in the comments below. But I had no idea what our minds could do. I had actually come in contact with this previously through some work by Dr. Carolyn Leaf, The Gift in You. This was many years ago that I started this book. It was around the time my kids were born, so we're talking 15 years ago. I wasn't ready then to absorb the information that was in that book. But now with Dr. Murphy's information, the other information I've learned from Trish, my mind's been just open to so many possibilities. So in the College of Confidence, you get to be part of a private Facebook group. And in that private Facebook group, about a week or so ago, I commented on one of the other members' posts, telling them about the 30-day challenge I did to help restructure my health and my brain, and how effective it had been for me. And to my surprise, there were quite a few members that were really excited about this information and wanted to learn more. So that is the introduction of why I'm doing this video, why I want to share this information, because I want to help people. That's the whole goal of Andrea Gamero Coaching and NoPainAllGain.ca, is to help others improve their health naturally, without medication, and so that they can live the best life that they possibly can. So let's go into how the brain works. Now, I am not a neuroscientist. I have done a bit of research on this, but I am not a doctor. But I love to learn, and that's something I hope I never lose. So years ago, I did read this book, and I watched a bunch of videos and presentations that Dr. Leaf was doing in interviews, and how she described what they call neuroplasticity. Now, a lot of people in our culture these days say, I was born this way, I can't change, that's impossible, this is just the way I am, it's in my DNA, I can't change. Well, that's not true at all, in any sense. Because we were created by God with very incredible brains and bodies that are able to heal themselves when given the proper conditions. So one of the things in the brain is called, that they have named, is called neuroplasticity. And it has been defined as the ability of the nervous system to change its activity in response to intrinsic and extrinsic stimuli by reorganizing its structure, functions, or connections after injuries such as a stroke or traumatic brain injury. And this is from the NCBI website. I will put that link down below. Now, this is really exciting. So you don't have to have a stroke or traumatic brain injury to help restructure your brain. You just have to have the will to try and do it. So how the brain works is you've got all these little neural pathways that go through it. And every time you have a thought, anytime you smell something, see something, hear something, anytime you're experiencing anything, your brain is like a computer just recording everything. And every time you go over the same information, same feeling more than once, that groove in your brain, in that little neural pathway, it gets deeper and deeper and deeper. And as we know, what you feed will grow. If you go, if you're into gardening, you have pets, you have kids, if you feed it, it's going to grow. If you don't feed it, it's going to shrink, shrivel, and die. So it's the same thing for our thoughts that go through our mind. Now, you can choose the thoughts you want to think, and the thoughts you can just say, yeah, see you later, you don't belong here. And every time you save a thought and go, yeah, I want to believe that, I want that to become my reality, and you keep thinking that thought, that groove is going to get deeper and deeper and deeper, and after a while gets into your subconscious. Well, it's in your subconscious already, these grooves, but that's going to become your default thought. So the thicker that neural pathway, that groove that goes through your brain is, the more it's going to be that first thought that comes up. So every time you have a negative thought, you just push it away, say, no, I'm choose this instead. And the less you will start thinking about that other thought less and less and less, that neural pathway, it's going to get lighter and lighter and lighter until it's no longer that default thought that comes into your brain. So in Dr. Carolyn Leaf's book, she describes the love tree or the fear tree. And I will show some pictures that will show kind of what I'm talking about here. And she talks about the roots being like your neural pathways. And so the more you feed those roots with your positive, if you think about love and positive things and things you want to change and things that will be better, you're going to have a lovely, healthy green tree. On the opposite side, if you keep feeding the negative thoughts, the negative outcomes, negative into your roots, which would be your neural pathways in your brain, what you see on the outside, instead of being a thriving, happy person, you're going to be miserable, sad, fearful, scared of everything, anxiety, and there is nothing wrong with that. I came from, when I started with Trish Blackwell and the College of Confidence, I'd been diagnosed with severe depression and anxiety. And through learning the new thought patterns, the new concepts for me, and putting them into practice, my depression has been gone for at least 2 years now, and my anxiety is controllable. I can talk myself out of it. As I'm recording this, I've got a lot of things in my family and external situations that are highly stressful right now. But even today, as the panic attacks started to rise, I was able to talk myself back and out of that anxiety because of these practices, and because I've been allowed my mind to be renewed by rewiring it with positive thoughts for positive outcomes. So the next thing you need to do, I guess, if you want more explanation on how the brain works, really great. Both these books, wonderful. I love how Dr. Leaf explains everything. She comes from a Christian background, which I really love, because when you can, for me, all these concepts, being able to connect them with God, it really helps me internalize it and make it a reality. But she has got, both these books actually have got excellent resources in the back of references that you can go back if you're a really science-driven person and want to see all the details, all the studies that they've gone through. These books in their references section are phenomenal, with all the case studies that proves their theories and how they do their practices. So let's go on to the 30-day challenge itself. So what happened was, I have fibromyalgia, and it was really starting to drag me down. During my depression, I was on some medication, which was very damaging. I honestly thought I was going on into early onset dementia because I was forgetting so much. I was having when I was driving, I had a mini stroke while I was driving. Or I would say more seizure, could have been a mini stroke, but it was definitely a mini seizure, and very scary. And I was really worried about what was going on in my brain. And so Trish said, you know what? She recommended the Dr. Murphy book and said, give it a read. Some stuff might be, just take what you can from it and what you think would work. And yeah, there's some stuff that's a little bit out there, but on the most part, he's got the concepts are really good about the neural pathways and the subconscious, and how what you feed the subconscious while you sleep can totally change what happens during the day. Now, what your body is supposed to do during the night is heal your body. That's why sleep is so incredibly important. If you want to lose weight, if you want to decrease your diabetes level, many chronic illnesses, if you want to bring those down, you need to get really good full 8 hours sleep. Anything from about 10 o'clock, the latest you want to be in bed is 10 o'clock. The time between 10 o'clock and midnight, you get better sleep in those 2 hours than you do from midnight until 8 in the morning. So if you can be in bed by 9, 10 o'clock at night, that's really optimal. But as long as you're getting 8 hours of sleep, that's what you want, because in that 8 hours, that's when your body can start healing damaged cells and start renewing itself so that you can have your optimum health. Now, what it also does is that the last thought, the last thing you watched, the last thing you were thinking, that you were listening to before you went to sleep, that is what your subconscious and your brain is going to work on through the night. So, if you've ever watched a horror movie just before going to bed, and then all night all you did was dream about people chasing you with knives, well, surprise, surprise, that's why. So what you need to do with this 30-day challenge is, before you go to bed, you're going to write in your journal and speak out loud while you're writing your power phrase, what you want to change. And you want that to be the last thing you do before you shut off the light. And then as you're going to sleep, keep letting that thought repeat in your brain as you fall asleep. So that's what your subconscious is going to work on, because that's what it does. That's what your brain is so powerful. That's what God created it to do for you. So for me, for example, I was having trouble sleeping. I was worried about my memory, being able to remember things. And I was also worried about being able to lose weight. Because with the medications I'd been on, weight gain was happening too. Yes, age probably has something to do with it as well. But still, there were some issues that I wanted to work with. So the first thing, one of the first thoughts that, I guess big epiphanies I had from Dr. Murphy, was that what you put out towards others, it comes back to you. So because your brain in your subconscious, it can't tell the difference between what's real and what's not. It's just recording all the information. So if you're telling your brain, I'm an idiot, it's going to start producing those results in your daily life, in your awake life, conscious life. So if you start putting positive things in there, then it's going to bring that into your daily life. So for instance, I find it hard to forgive, but the Bible tells us, Jesus tells us, we have to forgive if we want to be forgiven. Now, forgiving is not for the other person. The forgiveness is for you, because when you forgive the other person, you stop rehashing what they did to you, and you can move on to better thoughts. So forgiveness is beneficial for both, right? You can forgive the other person. You don't have to forget what they did to you or allow them to keep doing it to you, but you forgive them for what they've done. Try to tell a different story about maybe what was going on in their life at the time that made them lash out at you in that way. But whatever you need to do to forgive them. So something I would say at night to help myself fall asleep was along the lines of, I am completely relaxed from head to toe, and I freely forgive everyone. I wish them success, wealth, joy, and good health. So as far as my subconscious is concerned, it's like, oh, I'm relaxed from head to toe. Great, I can go to sleep. And by wishing those things to other people, it actually comes back to you. So you're actually like you're wishing it on yourself. But by the fact that you're wishing it on other people, your subconscious, when you've got those people in your mind, is actually pouring that onto your image of them. So you start to forgive them a little bit more and a little bit more and a little bit more every time you do it. And then I would go into my brain. Well, at the time, I was really worried about being able to remember things, that my brain was damaged forever, it would never be okay again. So to get over that, I would write and say at the same time, my brain is perfectly and wonderfully made by God. It can heal itself, and it's healing itself every day. It's getting stronger. The synapses are connecting better. I can remember things more and more every day, and I will be able to access the information I need when I need it. And for my weight, I would say my body is healthy and strong. It is healing itself more and more every day. I will be the example of healing that no one can explain. And I lose weight easily. I lose 2 pounds a week with no effort. And I would repeat this every night. Now, what I found really quite amazing is that by saying all this and writing this every night for 30 days, I would go to bed with such a feeling of peace and calm. I was able to fall asleep, and every night I'd fall asleep easier and earlier. Because every time I would start writing this, my body was like, oh, okay, it's time for bed. And I would be able to go to sleep. Now, I also found within a week, my memory started to improve. Also with my fibromyalgia, the pain and the different issues I was having with that, it was easing off as well. Did I lose 2 pounds a week? No, not exactly. But I started to get this urge to exercise more. And I got a little bit more picky with what I was eating. I wouldn't just throw anything into my mouth. I would start thinking more of like, well, I really don't want to eat that right now. I think I'll go for this instead. So the cumulative effects of that was, yes, I did start losing weight. Maybe not 2 pounds a week, but I was losing weight by doing that. So you do this every night for 30 days. And then during the day, you want to write it out or repeat it at least 3 times during the day. Anytime you hear a negative thought coming through your mind, self-anxiety or any self-deprecating thoughts, you start repeating these, and you do this at least 3 times a day, and you do it every night. Now, the reason you want to write it out and say it at the same time is because that really helps to entrench it in your mind and in your body, into your subconscious, because when you write it, you're using both your tactile senses, you're using your sight. When you speak it, you're also using hearing. So the more senses that you can incorporate out of the 5 senses when you're doing something, the more your body and your mind is going to be able to remember that. Now, when I was acting, this is what our acting teachers would say to do it. They're like, hey, if you can get on your treadmill while you're memorizing lines, even better. It gets into your body, into your muscle. Like, it just gets into your body better. The more physicality, the more senses you can use when you're learning it. So all of that previous information on top of what I'm learning now intellectually and from scientific research and such, it really works. When I started it, I'm like, yeah, I don't know, but you know what? I'm going to go for it. 30 days, what can I lose? And after 30 days, I was remembering so much more, and my brain was truly healing itself. And so then I'll be like, okay, fine, I don't need to do this, I'm good. And I'll kind of fall out of the habit. And after a couple of months, I'll start noticing things again. Well, great, I have the tools. I go back into it, and it just starts to improve again. So this works. It may seem out there, it may seem crazy, but you know what? It works. Our brains were created this way, to be able to fix ourselves, to heal, and to do incredible things beyond what we could possibly imagine. So if you have something, if you're dealing with anxiety, for instance, and you just don't know how to fix it, you could start with something like, I am fearfully and wonderfully made. I do not have to worry about tomorrow. I can do more than I possibly believe I'm capable of. With God's help, everything is going to be fine. Now, the key to this, though, is when you're coming up with your power statements, you don't want to use negative talk of any kind. So even mentioning anxiety, if you're trying to get out of anxiety, is tricky, because even putting that word in there can trigger that. You could try saying, I feel anxious, but I'm not an anxious person. Because if you say, I am anxious, that kind of confirms it more. Your subconscious is like, oh, I'm anxious. Okay, I've got to have worried thoughts. Now, if you just say it's a feeling of being anxious, then your brain's like, oh, well, I don't need to feel anxious right now. Things are fine. I don't need to worry about that. It's being taken care of. So you need to be careful that with your power phrases, you want to keep them as positive as possible. If you want to contact me, you can contact me at andrea@nopainallgain.ca, and I would be happy to help you come up with some power phrases. Or if you even want to work on this on a more on a deeper basis, we can chat and see if some one-on-one coaching with me would be a good idea, and we can work through this and get a plan going for you that would work even better. So in review, 30-day rewiring challenge, you are going to want to come up with some power phrases for what you want to change, and then just before bed at night, can be a piece of paper, just a 3-ring blank notebook that you can write in, and you're going to write and speak at the same time your power phrases for things that you want to change, whether it's weight loss, your anxiety, whatever it is, whatever health condition you are working on that you want more help with your brain to help you heal through the night. You're going to write that out and speak it out just before you go to bed. You say it, click off the light, think about it while you're falling asleep. Next day, 3 times during the day, or anytime negative thoughts about these issues come up. So during the day, anxious thought comes up. You're like, no, I am not an anxious person. I may feel anxious at the moment, but my brain is working on that, and I know everything is going to work out. And then, I know God is protecting me. My guardian angels are with me, and everything is going to work out. And then just follow that every day for 30 days, and you will be amazed at how much this changes. And as your thoughts change back and forth, you can always tweak your power phrases, come up with something completely new, whatever works for you. But the effects it had on me were just amazing. And believe me, I was a huge skeptic when I started it, and now, well, as you can see, I can't shut up. So I hope you have found this helpful. If you have any questions, please reach out to me, Andrea@nopainallgain.ca. I'll have that in the comments below and on the page. And I'll also put my Insta and Pinterest contacts in the comments below as well, so that if you want to contact me, I would be happy to talk with you and see if coaching or just give you some power phrases to get started with. I hope you found this helpful, and I hope you have a wonderful week. We'll see you next time.